What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Live, no distractions. Sorry, on time, all those things. Polar seltzer, show me the money. Anyhow, I'm gonna start with the non-news and then get to the real news. Okay, so let's start with the non-news and then get to the real news. I wasn't even gonna pay this any mind because it didn't pay it any mind, but people have been hitting me up about it, and it was a suggested topic. So here you go. The Caitlyn Clark WNBA relationship is one of the oddest things I've ever seen. Not Caitlyn Clark specifically with the WNBA and her version of it, but the reaction to Caitlyn Clark in the WNBA. And it's been a topic that has been beaten to death, beaten to death, beaten to death. So I don't like to try to give it oxygen. And I want to be as forthright as possible about it, but also not inflammatory. Calm it down a little bit, because let me start with the second half of that. Yesterday, people about the birthday. Who cares if the WNBA wishes Caitlyn Clark a happy birthday? Who cares what their social media account does or doesn't do? So what? Like, that is just causing unnecessary drama for the sake of it, in my mind. There's just no need. Like, why are you paying it? All that's going to do is provide fuel for the people who have fostered the petty narratives. You don't want to meet the pettiness with pettiness. Then we're all petty. We're Tom Petty, Richard Petty, Petty Crocker, any of these pettiness. So you don't want that. So I think that, and then there was someone, I don't know who this person is. I guess she is very respected in the community, the WNBA community, and she posted a post about something in regards to the WNBA and how the WNBA is great. And it's apparently her catchphrase, and people jumped on her for recognizing the WNBA and not Caitlyn Clark specifically for a donation. Again, then you give them fuel to go like, Caitlyn Clark fans, because calm down. Calm down. At the same time, I understand where some of it comes from. I do, because imagine the NBA shunning Michael Jordan, which happened with Caitlyn Clark in a certain sense, where like, oh, we don't want to promote her too much over everybody else. When you got Michael Jordan, it's like being on the ground floor for Michael Jordan. That's exactly what this is. Anybody who says otherwise is fooling themselves. And I know for a fact that it's a thing. I know for a fact that it's a thing because I have been in conversations where a high-profile, at least one high-profile women's basketball player has requested not to speak about Caitlyn Clark. And where PR people have requested for Caitlyn Clark not to be a topic of conversation. That is a real thing. So it's not made up. But in addition to all the like subtle hints of it or whatever. So, so much of this is also online and not a real thing too. You got to remember that. And I've said that about Clark too, and the WNBA's growth, like all of it is positive if you're looking at it from any sort of rational business perspective, where you're talking in regards to attendance, ratings, anything that can be measured in that way. Positive. You don't hear people talking about this nonsense. So much of it is social media. And look, I'm doing it right now because people ask me. So guilty as charged again. I feel like a hypocrite sometimes, and I guess I am being a hypocrite because I could have ignored that completely, totally. Like, there was no reason to give it any. Who cares? Who cares? So, it's just like but the problem is the media and some of the WNBA players gave the social media stuff life, right? Like the media at times took one or two comments that somebody made on social media and made that like it was the prevailing narrative because they, culture and race wars were good. for ratings, I guess. I don't know. And then some of the players too, they read one comment or two comments and then they make that out to be the entire thing. But the whole genesis of this really came from the point of view of Caitlyn Clark drew so much more attention to the league than it had ever seen before. And she was the only topic of conversation. And people got a little offended that that happened with her, not with them, and that they were painted out to be trash and worthless before. Like, especially that latter narrative. And I think some fans came in with that. But bottom line is these two bodies are together. That they feed each other. Because I promise you, the WNBA finals ratings were higher because of Caitlyn Clark fans. Much higher because of Caitlyn Clark fans. The Unrivaled attention in a lot of ways is higher because of Caitlyn Clark fans. I see them. I see CCFC is what I say. In regards to her fan base. That's the nickname for her fan base. CCFC. They're very powerful. But I've seen them gravitate towards the rest of the league and Unrivaled and all that stuff. And ultimately, that's good for the legacy of everybody. The bigger the WNBA becomes as a result of this, the bigger Caitlyn Clark's footprint is. And the bigger the rest of the WNBA becomes, the less it is about Caitlyn Clark. That's the ultimate outcome for everybody. So that's the non-news. And I saw a lot of people pissed off about it. So I would just advise you don't have to turn everything into a controversy and feed into it because it's been the habit. I mean, part of what makes social media great is these communities get built like the one here. People get connected with one another, all that stuff. But at the same time, like, there's just this knee-jerk reaction to everything to be about, I'm mad. And on one side, you got, oh, look, their fans are at it again. And on the other side, you got the fans being at it again sometimes. But the ones who are doing the fans are at it again are oftentimes making that up before that's even there. It's just a whole, self-fulfilling prophecy, I guess, if you will. But who cares if the WNBA didn't wish Caitlyn Clark a happy birthday? At the same time, again, I understand where it comes. I felt it myself. I got people go at me when I've covered more sport, women's basketball topics than almost anybody. It just so happens it came around with Caitlyn Clark. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Comment, everything else. Caitlyn Clark also had the workout video, right? And hit 50 out of 54 threes. I think one of the things you'll see with her, one of the big jumps she can make this year is to improve that three-point percentage. I think with fresh legs and a refined form, you'll see that go up. Somebody said they just dropped a new video. They did another one. Let me see. I'll get to the comments in a bit. Oh, yeah. I mean, look, it's cool. The more footage you get, the better. And then the other thing is Unrivaled. Like, people be obsessed. I said about the Unrivaled numbers, the initial numbers, I thought they were solid, but not spectacular. And that's okay. And then I got everybody hit me up with the next numbers and that. First of all, day 2 of Unrivaled was on True TV. I don't know what that is. I found it because I was watching it, but it's not the same as TNT. So I think the apples to apples comparison is TNT this coming week because the Monday night game was destined to have a bad rating against the college football national championship. But I'm rooting for Unrivaled. And for those of you who are rooting against Unrivaled, it doesn't help Caitlyn Clark if Unrivaled fails. Everybody already knows. Anybody with a brain already knows what Caitlyn Clark has brought to the league. If they don't, they're being willfully obtuse. If they don't, they're being willfully obtuse. So what gain is there to Unrivaled not succeed? It's good for everyone if Unrivaled does better. It helps the sport grow. It helps people get paid. It helps them with their equity. It gives fans another entertainment option. There's no downside to it. It's not even run by the same people. So that's another thing I don't get is like those who seem to be actively rooting against Unrivaled. What does it get you? What does it do for you? I mean, nothing. So I don't know. That also adds to it. That's the non-stories. Then there is a little bit of free agency news. So apparently, this is according to Andy Constable, the Chicago Sun-Times. The Chicago Sky are out on Jewel Lloyd in a trade. And Jewel Lloyd wants to go to the Las Vegas Aces, which then obviously sets up the possibility of a Kelsey Plum for Jewel Lloyd swap. I mean, that's as simple as it gets, right? We know that Plum apparently wants a fresh start away from the Aces. Obviously, Jewel Lloyd wants out of Seattle. Switch. There you have it. Send Kelsey Plum up north to the Storm. Jewel Lloyd down south to Vegas. And you've got an easy peasy done deal trade. I mean, if that's what Jewel Lloyd wants, I can't imagine it would be a bad fit for Plum. That makes sense for Plum too. It gives her the opportunity to, be on a team that can still compete, but she'll be more of the face of that team. I mean, they got other good players there, don't get me wrong. Obviously, you got Skylar Diggins-Smith and Neko Gumake and other good players in Seattle. It's not like Kelsey Plum will be the far and away best player or anything, but she'll be much more of a standout presence versus, behind Asia Wilson in Vegas. So that's the latest in the WNBA free agency news. I mean, I saw ESPN also put out a piece with possible free agent fits and everything like that. They had Brittany Griner going to the Aces too. Brittany Griner, a free agent. She basically said at Unrivaled, she's showing off her skills for free agency. Directly, she said that. They had DeWanna Bonner as a fit for the Indiana Fever. And of course, there is the connection with the Sun and Stephanie White. So you have to take that into consideration as well. But wanted to get another show in before the week got out. Last one, I apologize. I had stuff go on right before we went live. So wanted to make sure you had my full attention, and I gave you the best performance I could here, even though I didn't really have a real topic to start with. But, I could fire this thing up anytime and you guys will be here. By the way, an update on the back. I'm a dumbass. I attempted to play basketball last night. Not a good idea. It's actually feeling a little better today. But there's also like a stomach bug going around, went around my house, which I had yesterday too. So I thought like double whammy, I could get rid of sweat it out and fix my back by like running around. Didn't help my back. I can't bend over to even like get to the ball. And I also can't move side to side. So not good for basketball playing. Not good. I got to stop acting like I'm a teenager. I got myself in trouble when I was younger by doing stuff like that, like playing through injury and all that. And here I am as an old man, still doing the same. Still doing the same. All right, guys, time to get to the chats and everything else. The floor is now yours. Please hit the like button, subscribe button, the other buttons that are available, and I will get into the comments. Let's go to Marlene Smith, who is always generous, just throwing up a super sticker. I appreciate your participation, Marlene. Thank you very much. As always, Brandon Sleep says willfully obtuse. Nice. Haha. Yeah, I mean, you see it a lot. I had an argument with people the other day. They didn't even respond to what I said, right? Like, they just continue to perpetuate whatever narrative they had, willfully obtuse. And you see, look, nobody's perfect. Again, that's why I'm trying to calm some of the, but people just like to fire it up every day. You know what happened too with the online aspect of it? COVID, this is when I realized how crazy everybody was, because COVID happened and people were in front of their screen all day, every day. So every day, like, was the new mini controversy, and people were arguing, vaccine, no vaccine, no vaccine, vaccine, no vaccine. Every day. Mask, no mask, no mask, mask, no mask, no mask. Social distance, kiss each other. Social distance, kiss each other. You know, like every day. Trump, no Trump. Biden, no Biden. Blah, 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 blah. Every single day. And that made its way to the way that the WNBA is talked about. And people used Caitlyn Clark because she was so popular and so pervasive to throw her into that mix. She was like this like perfect test subject for that. For no fault of her own. She's just a damn basketball player. But that's when I realized everybody's out their minds. And then you also go into real life and it's not the same. Again, you go into an arena and nobody's doing that bullshit. At least around the basketball games. Kevin Zwicker said, should have mentioned Reese in the birthday wishes. I think they actually did shout out Angel Reese on her birthday. Now, I think on her birthday, she was also at like some fashion show. So there was a reason to do it, you know, like versus just going out of their way to say happy birthday to her. She happened to be at a public event when her birthday happened. Either way, I don't care. And by the way, the people who are running the WNBA social media have probably nothing to do with the WNBA. A lot of time, I mean, there's generally a pretty big disconnect between like the top of a company and the person running they might not even have somebody on staff. I bet you the WNBA was not prepared for the influx of attention and everything they got to staff their social media. Maybe they will be going forward, hopefully, but that could also be part of the issue sometimes. There's just not somebody actually working or any actual directive. AJ Schreiber says, would love to see Angel try for 50 out of 54 layups. Yeah. That'd be, do you think Angel Reese could hit 50 out of 54 layups with no defense? I'm just kidding. I did a video earlier today. Check it out. I loved what Kalia Copper did with Angel Reese to have her work on her layups and a routine around that. That's great veteran mentorship from Copper. And it's also good for Reese to hear that from somebody and also just to work on that. So that's all good stuff. You know, I've joked about the mic and drill, but not joked, even serious about the mic and drill. What I actually do in my driveway, and I'm nowhere near the you know, athlete that any of these women are, of course, relatively speaking, is I do a mic and drill before I have to make 20 layups in a row before I can get to my around the world routine. And then I have to hit from all 5 spots on the around the world routine in order to then get into whatever else I want to work on. So there's that too. Stern, aka Chris, says looks like she has added about 10 pounds of muscle. Oh, Caitlyn? I mean, yeah, look, Caitlyn's going to be a problem with that much work, that much attention, everything else that's happening. Damn beast. But yeah, she does look like um oh, this is funny. I just saw this as we're scrolling. Hold on. The WNBA, this is according to, let me look at the account, just make sure I'm not being trolled. Deandra D shared, the WNBA is looking for a creative director to spearhead the creative development process and help establish a consistent, distinctive brand vision and voice for the league. So there you have it. You know, they're working on it. They weren't prepared, and they have some time to get prepared. So, again, I do think the way Clark was received, there's certainly validity to it. I just told you, I've been on, I've received the worst of it. I've seen the worst of it. I've heard the worst of it. But it doesn't make it better to make a fuss about nonsense. Kevin Zwicker, go Lunar Owls. Hooty hoo! Brandon Sleep, did you see the workout video the Fever just posted? Looks like Keith has her building a nice finishing package. Look, I mean, that Keith seems like he's knows what he's doing. Obviously, I think Caitlyn is, her work ethic can't really be questioned. So, I volunteer for the WNBA job, says Kevin. Well, apply for it, my man. There's no downside. All right, hit the likes, subscribes. Thank you for all the super chats. We're off to a good start there. I've really appreciated those picking up. Thank you. It obviously incentivizes more lives and just shows me your support. So I do appreciate that. Now let me get into the other messages. You do not have to pay to have your messages read, but it will get them read first. All right. Here we go. Old Seer says, happy birthday, CC. May you have many, many more. Katie says, stop being shocked by things that shouldn't shock you, which I don't even know what I was shocked about at this point. Katie says, Petty Crocker made her giggle. Slow Pat says, hello. John Bryan says, back for a session of sanity about the insane world of the WNBA. Starscream, comparing Clark to MJ now? LOL. Yes, definitely am. Definitely am. I think it's very comparable. In fact, I think, or as Jay-Z put it, I'm Michael, Magic, and Bird all rolled in one. And if I ain't better than Big, I'm the closest one. But I think from a cultural league impact, yes. And has the chance to be that as a player too. But that's the compare in every meeting I've had with people, like, to be honest, about what I've been doing, that's what it's like being on the ground floor for Michael Jordan. I truly believe that. Basil agrees with me that we don't need 144 to 156 birthday messages. Like, this is the type I'm talking about. Do you think Caitlyn was mad about what the Fever gave her? Who cares? What do you want them to do? Like, here, Princess Caitlyn, we worship at your feet in your altar. May you have all of the goods. I mean, like, they sang her happy birthday. She's a person. They can sing her happy birthday like anybody else. She's good. You don't have to have a problem on Caitlyn's behalf. We can talk about when there's like real issues, but don't make them up. Martel Parks says CCFC is a monster. That is for damn sure. That fan group, you don't want to be on a bad side of CCFC. And boy, oh boy, can you rely on CCFC to find all the information and distribute it. Greg Crawley says, I've never seen such a jealous organization in my lifetime. Kristen Mitchell adds, it wasn't a pancake, it was a chocolate chip cookie cake, her favorite cookie. So they got her favorite thing. I mean, you guys can't complain about everything. Caitlyn Clark didn't save the WNBA. Shut up. I don't think I used those exact words, but Caitlyn Clark certainly put the WNBA on the map. And anything else is false. It's just patently false. It doesn't mean the WNBA wasn't good. Doesn't mean the players weren't great. Doesn't mean the WNBA was worthless. Doesn't mean any of those things. The WNBA was put into the national focus and attention because of Caitlyn Clark, full stop. That's just the truth. What about Russo and his Tyron being a total jerk on a major? I don't know what you mean. Oh, Mad Dog? Oh, by the way, I'll be on Mad Dog Radio. So, yeah, he just does that bit about Taylor Swift and everything. I don't know why he questioned Caitlyn Clark's Chiefs fandom when it's been out there. But I forgot. I'm on Mad Dog Radio tomorrow with Michelle Beadle from 12 to 3. So thank you for reminding me so I could plug that. Peggy also says, what about Skip Bayless? I mean, let's not, what about Skip Bayless? That's like, Skip Bayless is, first of all, he's not even employed by anyone. Second of all, he's Skip Bayless, The ball handling apparently is good in the new video. Sorry, I'm not watching it right now. You'll have my undivided attention. Somebody left me a comment that I wanted to make sure I took to heart. I agree with this, that Caitlyn's 3-point percentage is going to jump quite a bit. I mean, is the WNBA mad because they wanted to make A'ja Wilson the face of the league? I don't. Maybe some of the fans, some of the legacy media are mad. I don't. The WNBA is made up of a lot of different people. Now, Kathy Engelbert has also done the whole WNBA reverence tax thing, which is weird. Like she said, Caitlyn could get hurt, and then she also does the thing where she lists. I think people are just worried they're going to get criticized. To be honest with you, and they're scared they're going to get criticized, and some of them were scared we're going to get called racist because that's how strange the discourse became. And I felt it to a degree too, but then I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Because I know who I am. I know what I'm about. I know what I've built. I know what I've done. I know, my character, all that stuff where I'm just going to tell you what I think and not deal with that nonsense. Katie says, I'm not a big fan of Unrivaled, but the want for it to fail is wild. Like, get out of here. Exactly. Lindy says, Robin, so it's okay to count when we have nothing else to watch, and that's accurate? Unrivaled is competing with every other sport for viewership, just like the WNBA does. Yes, but what are your expectations for Unrivaled? Right? Like, did I expect... So the first ones have the novelty. It's going to be higher, right? But they did beat the NHL a couple days before. I think that's pretty good to beat what was considered a core 4 sport. I mean, it was the fourth one, but was considered a top 4 sport in America. I think soccer is clearly past hockey now. But regardless, they beat that. And then for anything, context is important. So the numbers are not going to be as high on True TV as they are on TNT. They're not going to be as high in the middle of the afternoon as they are in prime time. That's just the way television works. They're not going to be as high up against the college football national championship with that 30 million people watched. You know, um, now you don't want to see like this and it continuing, of course not. But also, the success or failure is not going to happen based on the first 3 days of viewership. Same thing with any league. To talk about the NBA ratings, it's fun to talk about, I guess, but it's also nonsense because the NBA signed a massive media rights deal. That deal is coming through. They're getting paid for that. Whether the next game nobody watches or not, you don't get paid on a per game basis. The Unrivaled partnerships and marketing things are already done. They're already signed, sealed, and delivered. So it doesn't matter. Now, it matters for a view of how much interest there is and for the future prospects for sure. But I feel like people are looking to support their agendas one way or the other, to be honest. They're either looking to go like, look at how good it does, because they did this. People did this when the WNBA Finals ratings came out. Look at what they did without Caitlyn Clark. And by the way, the WNBA Finals did do well. They did. But, in any comparison to Caitlyn Clark games, they didn't. WNBA Finals did very well, though. And the same thing with Unrivaled. People are like trying to do not everything has to be about Caitlyn Clark all the time either. And we all know Caitlyn Clark drives interest. We all know, again, these are not breaking news. But it doesn't benefit anybody for Unrivaled to not do well. It doesn't benefit Caitlyn Clark. I guarantee you she's not rooting for its failure. Stern, a.k.a. Chris, says the Fever players are just likable. Boston was on Big Ten Network last night doing Analyze. Great on camera. Looked like a seasoned pro. I could imagine Aaliyah Boston being very good at that. I didn't see it, but she's just a smart girl. Just a smart girl. And obviously experienced in basketball. What are you accusing me of spinning improperly now, Basil? Yeah, Plum in Seattle works for me, Starscream. Marlene Smith, do you think Jewel works with the Aces? Yes and no. Yes, in the sense of I think she could fit in well offensively. No, in the sense of I think the Aces need to shore up their defensive backcourt. Same problem they had with Kelsey Plum last year. Plum and Gray together is not too great defensively, and I don't think Lloyd and Gray would be together too great defensively because Gray is not that fast and Lloyd is not that big. Pharaoh X says LSU versus South Carolina Gamecocks, the battle of the best SEC teams tomorrow. Correct. That is taking place. It was supposed to be tonight. It got moved because of the winter weather. I think the swap would be close to straight up. Maybe not exactly, but close to straight up. I don't think it would take a bunch of picks. I did see the fan video, Christy. It was nice that the Fever put out. Do I think that Jewel could handle Becky Hammond yelling at her like she does Kelsey? I mean, I don't know what the deal is with. Obviously, there was an issue with Jewel Lloyd and Noel Quinn, but Joseph NG says, Robin, know that you are rooting for it, but also open to constructive criticism about basketball. More often than not being played beautifully. A basketball is a brick when they. Well, look, I mean, I haven't had a problem with the Unrivaled play style. I mean, again, it's supplementary. It's not the basis for everything. People miss layup. Women's basketball players are going to miss more layups than men's basketball players, guys, too. They're shorter. They don't jump as high. Makes it harder to consistently finish around the basket. when you're shorter and you don't jump as high. Then those are biological things. They're not character flaws or work ethic flaws. Sally Gainey says she's unfollowed the WNBA for their commitment to ghosting Caitlyn. Ella Carlson says DB would be great on the Fever. Kelsey would like Seattle as far as she. Oh yeah, she did go to Washington. I mean, so it makes a lot of sense actually. She just had her jersey retired there. Buggy says Chiefs or Bills. I mean, I always pick the Chiefs. I would like the Bills to win in a sense. It'd be nice. Josh Allen's a beast, but I always pick with the Chiefs. Dennis says go Bills. Maria says Chiefs. Kevin's always talking about age. Yeah, I'm older than you, man. It doesn't impact me. Like, I'm also wiser and have much better music taste. Tulip plays. If Braun averaged almost 6 turnovers like CC, he would have 9,000 career turnovers instead of 5,300. Love URL. But your comparison of them a couple streams ago was crazy. She smashed the turnover record by a mile. She also smashed the assist record. Has LeBron James ever had the most assists in a season by any player? And I love LeBron. But it's only fair. You're going to say she smashed the turnover record. She also smashed the assist record. And LeBron is the NBA's all-time turnover leader. Luka Doncic led the NBA in turnovers last year. My point was that players who have the ball a lot and are responsible for everything are going to turn the ball over. Caitlyn was a rookie, seeing the full attention of the defense to a level that no one else saw, which is just a fact. When you look at the way she was covered, she saw more defensive attention than any player in the league. And you could even look at the way Kelsey Plum guarded her in the damn All-Star game. And she was new to the league, and her schedule was front-loaded. So, yeah, the turnover numbers were a little high. But I think I saw you comment earlier comparing these to like missed layups are not the same as a turnover to me. First of all, a missed layup takes 2 points off the board. A turnover changes the possession, which is bad, but doesn't necessarily lead to 2 points. And again, I think turnovers are a function of, players trying to make things happen and having the ball. The question is, are you you can't go out there and turn the ball over and not produce. But Caitlyn Clark so far outproduced her turnovers when you take her points and assists into question. Like Caitlyn Clark produced more points by points and assists than any player in the history of the league has. So is it fair to say her turnovers could come down? Of course. Is she beyond critique? Of course not. But to act as if her turnovers are some sort of fatal flaw is also nonsense. Angel was at the Met Gala, I think, for her birthday, too. C-Man says, Caitlyn being in the gym on her birthday shows you her work ethic. Caitlyn is dedicated to her job. Yeah, man, I don't think anybody questioned that, right? I live in New Jersey, but I don't think I'd get hired for that job. Nor am I going to apply for it. I enjoy working for myself. Dixie says she's amazing. She'll only get better. Just think about it. Agreed. What up, Ernesto? Late to the party. He agrees that Caitlyn is MJ. I did see Caitlyn's commercial with Peyton Manning. It was good. Well, Peggy, I know you see these articles on Google, and trust me, I'm, participate in that game. It's all about what you choose to give your energy to. People are gonna put anything into the universe they think people might click on and consume. That's the content game. Ron Stout says, "Quit letting Tulip troll me." I'm just letting people have their voices. I responded to one comment. Unless you're talking to somebody else. Sometimes people in the comment section talk to each other, and I can't necessarily see that while I'm scrolling through because there are a lot of comments, y'all. So, Mellow Yellow says I had the best COVID interpretation he's seen or she's seen. I don't know. He, she. Any chance the Fever could land Plum? I only see that if they get rid of or not get rid of, if they lose Kelsey Mitchell. Raj Talk, I'm back. Raj, that's my son. Follow his channel. You see it right there. His goal is to beat me in subscribers. Kevin says, "What's up?" Raj pretends he doesn't like me often and criticize, but here he is. He's either clout chasing or he's actually a fan of his dad. Raj, the word clout, what that would mean is, well, look it up yourself, bud. Eagles versus Bills in the Super Bowl. I'm back. There's my biggest fan. BB still clocks T. Do you think the Storm Sky talks for Jewel Lloyd went cold because Chicago does not want to give up the number 3 pick? Maybe. I honestly, and I'm not trying to be a jerk, I think players don't want to play for the Sky. I mean, that's been out there. Nothing about their players or their personnel organization thing. But you hear it out there. The people talk about wanting to get out of it. And until they get that new practice facility and all that, I just don't think players want to be there. So they either have to go find, Courtney Vandersloot is a player they're trying to get who's on the back end of her career, and they can offer her more of an opportunity than another team. So that's a good target, and the rest of the players would be from the draft and stuff like that. Tamara Glassman, CC is so comparable to MJ. I was the biggest MJ fan, and I'm also the biggest CC fan. This is a good point. I think a lot of people forget an NBA game is 20% longer than a WNBA game when they try to compare the numbers. That is true too. So like everything will be higher in the NBA. Raj is the GOAT, says Brandon Sleep. There you go, Raj. Be happy to see that. Thank you, Brandon. Alrighty. I think I made my way through most of the chat. I do have to take my daughter to a soccer practice coming up, and then I have to coach 2 basketball teams back to back. So I will be signing off here in a second. You guys got another minute or two to get any comments in. Please like, subscribe, comment, all those good things to the channel. I appreciate all the perspectives and participation. As always, we always have a good number of viewers in here. It's only growing. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when we're dealing with real news versus what today was. These chats should be longer, says Justin. How long do you want them? I can give you 10 more minutes. I can give you 10 more. Bless us. But I mean, it's not like I just come in here and bounce. CR says, Did you already discuss the Unrivaled ratings? I think there's constructive criticism that could be given, but many only want to hype it. Yes, I did discuss them. What is the constructive criticism? I mean, I don't know what can be fixed per se. I mean, I think the first night's viewership was fine. Not amazing, but fine. Since then, I haven't dived into the numbers, but I expected it to go down. I expected it to go down because the novelty would wear off, and they were on True TV and then against the College Football National Championship. I think we need more data before we have a real firm understanding. But I'm not expecting Unrivaled to do huge numbers. So it's also about your expectations. I think they're looking for a niche. And if they can be a successful niche, they can be successful. We all know why they wanted Caitlyn Clark as much as they wanted Caitlyn Clark. Like anybody would want Caitlyn Clark that's in business because it would take them to another level. It guarantees success. And, viewerships around 1 million people. Who's hiding facts? I just said it. What is that? But what do you get from that? I told you, True TV, they're going to go down. What is True TV? What else has been on? And then against the College Football National Championship, they're going to go down. And then after their first game, when their curiosity is its highest, they're going to go down. What do you want me to say? The league should fold because the numbers, the second and third games weren't as high as the first game? When they've already signed all their deals and they're already getting the money coming in from those deals? We'll know more with more time. Justin says, have you reached out to Jamel Hill about her misguided takes on Cece? You used to be colleagues. I don't know Jamel like that. We may have run into each other. I don't know her like that, though. I can't text her. But I do think Jamel, like some of these other folks, has gotten caught up in that business of just everything is about one thing, when most of the time it's not. And it made people resent Caitlyn Clark for no reason at all. CR says, appreciate the answer. I agree that more time for more data. Thank you for your reasonable perspective. Exactly. Jenny Ortiz. Unrivaled is fun to watch. Just because CC ain't in it don't mean it's not great. People are tripping and a little too protective of someone not asking to be coddled. Yeah, but Caitlyn Clark is fine. And in fact, I think she would probably, if I don't know her either, but if I had to guess, I think she would probably, 1, root for the success of Unrivaled, and 2, tell people not to root on its failure on her behalf, for sure. Kristen had to search for True TV. Yeah, what is it? See ya, Peggy. Thanks for always participating. Susan, I don't think they would include Max. Watching from the Philippines is Rob. What up, Rob? Marlene Smith says people forget CC is a great player, but there are many good players. That is true. CC is a player on a different level. I think, part of that gets lost a little bit because of the phenomenon she's become, that people don't give credit for what kind of player she actually is. But there are other great players too. True. I am not aware. She's playing in Turkey, I believe. I don't know. Miesemann would be a great target for somebody too, has a connection to the Sun, but I don't have any inside information for you. Sorry. TW said some of the CC fans are crazy. I mean, all fandoms have crazy people involved, and CC has a lot of fans. So you increase the volume, you increase the chances of some of them being a little loony. Bye, Robin. Bye, chat. See you. All right. We've reached our 2-minute warning, okay? 2 more minutes to get anything in, and then I got to get I do have to get my daughter to practice, so I stayed on a little extra for those of you who asked for more time. I did, want to get one more show in this week. I'm doing my best to get more lives in because of what we've been able to build here, because of the audience participation, and because of y'all. So do I think Unrivaled viewership goes up after this week? I think it goes up from Saturday and Monday on Friday, but I think it goes down from last Friday, if I had to guess. Plum might like the Valkyries, JJ, but the Valkyries don't have that much to offer in a trade versus her connection to Washington and the fact that the Jewel Lloyd Plum swap works almost seamlessly. You have to consider that too. C. Kono says, thanks. What a good dad. Thanks for the live. Thank you. And thank you for the compliment. All right. I am going to be that good dad. Going to take my daughter to soccer. Going to coach my daughter's basketball team and then my son's basketball team, because as soon as soccer's over, we got basketball. And then my son has basketball. And guess what? My wife is going out for her belated birthday party with her friends. So I'm going to be watching my 3-year-old while I coach basketball too. I appreciate you, Tamara. Thank you. Raj, is that you? Come here. You want to say hi since you joined the chat? Come on. We're signing off because I gotta take your sister to practice. Come say hi, so they can see you in person. Look at this WrestleMania hoodie I got him. What WrestleMania did you go to?
40.
40? What was your favorite thing about it?
Sami Zayn beating Gunther.
Anything else?
And Jey Uso spewing Jimmy Uso.
Yeah. And what about the Roman and Cody match?
Huh?
The Undertaker?
Yeah.
All right. You want to plug your channel? What's your channel?
Raj Talk.
Raj-Talk? Is that how it is?
Yeah.
That little line?
Yeah.
Okay. Raj-Talk. Any parting words?
No.
All right. See you, man. Oh, who's your favorite wrestler there? They asked me who my favorite wrestler is. Roman Reigns. Raj, who's your favorite wrestler?
Right now or ever?
Ever.
Undertaker.
How about right now?
Jey Uso.
And on that note, we will say, yeet.